July 10th, 1992, we're in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm with Michael Von Matinsky, alias Mafia Mike. Michael, you used to listen to Radio Free America in Anchorage. You came on as a guest. We became friends. You were highly involved in politics. You had an interest in this particular subject, and well, tell me the story. How did it all start?
Well, originally I'm from California, Southern California, as you know, Anthony. I had moved to Alaska. I'd spent about 14 years in Alaska. And I've always had an interest in aerial phenomena, unidentified flying objects. The night we were on your show together, I think we'd spoken about that before the show. My interest in UFOs, governmental conspiracies, governmental cover-ups, and politics in general. That's pretty much how we met.
What occurred?
Well, my two friends showed up from Los Angeles. We met in Las Vegas at my home, and we drove from Las Vegas out to the area that's referred to as Area 51. We had stopped in a restaurant, small place called the Little Ailey Inn, where there's a great amount of discussion and memorabilia of what's going on out in that area. We had an early dinner out there. We talked to the owners.
This is in Rachel, Nevada, which is actually towards the, well, it's north of the Groom Lake area in the Tickaboo Valley.
Yes. We had an early dinner out there. We spoke with the owners of the restaurant and just had a very, very pleasant dinner. And after dinner, we spoke with a few more residents of the area. And then we drove out to what's more commonly referred to as the Groom Lake area, I believe. It's what it's referred to. We wanted to get as close to the military installation as possible without going onto government land. The land that we were on was public land.
BLM.
BLM, right, the Bureau of Land Management. And we got as close to Area 51 as we could legally. And so we parked at the base of a low mountain range there. And we parked our car. We got out. We got our lawn chairs out. We were prepared to spend the night out there, which we did. And my two companions and myself made ourselves comfortable.
Yeah, you had told the one girl that was with you from Anchorage that you expected the security forces to come out and pay you a visit. You told her this in advance of that particular event. Could you tell us a little bit about what happened there?
Well, actually, it was my friend from Alaska asked me. She said, do you think the security personnel that's been known to frequent this area will come out and visit us?
We're talking about the Wackenhut SS.
Yes, we are. Security personnel, so to speak, from Wackenhut International. And my answer to that was, in my opinion, they'll probably be here within 10 minutes. It was interesting that within the next 10 or 12 minutes, two Wackenhut International vehicles approached where we were parked and camped out. You have to picture this, Anthony. It is at night. It's dark. We're in the middle of a desert valley alone, and out of nowhere come two vehicles. The men that approached us were wearing Desert Storm military issue fatigues. They were both armed with weapons. I had noticed on the gentleman that was doing the speaking to us, the gentleman in charge, He had a microphone attached to his belt, and so I felt as though we were being tape recorded. Our conversations were being tape recorded. Now, the fellow in charge, it was really interesting. He said, "Good evening, how are you folks tonight?" And we said, "We're just fine." Now, at this time, the two women that I was with were getting a little nervous, and I could tell that they were nervous, and I could tell that they were intimidated, as I was. They asked us why we were there, and we just explained that we wanted to spend the evening in the desert, and we were doing a little stargazing. And I remember very clearly what the gentleman in charge said. He said, "So you just decided to come out to this area and stargaze tonight?" And I answered in the affirmative. I said, "Yes, we just thought we'd come out here and just stargaze." It was obvious to me at that point that this gentleman knew exactly what we were doing there. He knew that we were looking for UFOs or any sightings, and he knew that we knew, and we knew what he was doing there, along with his associates. It was unspoken, but it was well understood in my mind. And the gentleman in charge said, "Well, we're going to be leaving now, and have a nice evening." But the phrase that he used, his last statement to me, really gave me cause to pause and ponder the statement that this man in charge had to say. He said, "Consider this a friendly warning." At that moment, I felt very intimidated again and very nervous about being in this area. I had made the decision to stay the night with my two friends and see if we could observe something in that area. But in the words of the Wackenhut officer in charge, consider this a friendly warning. And at that time, I began to feel quite intimidated. It was at that time that these two gentlemen left, got in their blazers, and drove away, each one in an opposite direction. One towards Area 51 and the other back towards the main highway.
Highway 375.
Yes. It happened about approximately 30 minutes after the Wackenhut units had left. And we experienced this, my two companions and myself, all at the same time. And the best way I can describe it is this way. It was a rumbling, low, guttural sound.
Like that of an earthquake?
Almost.
Or like a subway train in New York City?
Similar, but not quite. This happened in a period of a few seconds, what happened, but we all experienced this at the same time. It felt to me as something was moving not only underneath the ground that we were standing on, but underneath the entire valley. That was my perception and feeling of what was happening. It was a rumbling, low sound that was passing through under the valley, underneath the actual ground we were standing on, across the whole valley, going from point A to point B, across the entire valley. It was the strangest sensation I'd ever experienced in my life. I have been in earthquakes. It was similar, but not quite the same. It felt as though the ground that we were standing on was hollow underneath the ground. It almost felt like there was some kind of hollowness under the ground, and something very large, was passing underneath us, not just underneath us, but across the entire valley. And it happened within a period of several seconds, this phenomena. While this was happening, one of my companions that was looking, I believe, north, uttered the words, "My God." And as this sound was going across the valley, My other companion and I looked in the direction that she was looking, and we saw the most incredible phenomena that I've ever seen in my life. Looking up in that portion of the sky that she was looking at, I observed 16, 18, possibly 24 what I would consider intelligently controlled and directed craft, if you will, taking the sky.